What's supposed to be the warmest day this week has started out being very cold and windy, and I don't like it. That is what it is. Good morning, lovely people. Welcome back to the farm. My name is Brandon with Sojourn Farms. Oh my goodness, that's a cold blast of wind right down the lungs. Whew. So we are gonna try to finish up the fencing project today. We are going to, oh my goodness. I don't like it. I left my gloves inside too. Dang it. We're gonna have to go back in and get those. You guys are doing all the chicken chores this morning, right?
Yeah, I do the BS Felder.
Well, folks, we're out here after a nice breakfast and we're gonna try to get this electric fence set up. So when I go and I move the sheep using the Premier One electric netting, the electric netting is great for what it is. But when you're having to move sheep every day or every other day, you start to try to figure out how you can keep them out there just one day longer. And that's because it takes so long to move the sheep, move their water, move their minerals. What I'm going to be doing with this new rotational grazing system, this fence as part of that system, is it's gonna cut way back on time. So we're gonna have a perimeter fence around the entire pasture. I've already said this, but I'm just gonna recap it. Perimeter fence all the way around the pasture, and then we're simply going to have a little portable, movable, single line, single wire fence that we're gonna reel up on a reel and move to a new location, moving the sheep there. All the while they'll be within this perimeter fence, so they won't ever escape the larger pasture. We'll just move them from paddock to paddock to paddock that we'll set up as we need to. So we're gonna see how it works, but I'm estimating it's gonna take, for every hour that I spend moving sheep, I'm estimating I'm gonna be spending 6 to 10 minutes moving sheep now. And that is considerable. That is considerable time savings. That's like up to 90% time saving. If I can cut the time that it takes me to move the sheep, to rotate them to a new portion of the pasture, if it starts to take me only 10% of the time that it takes me now, that is incredible. So I'm really excited to get this thing finished. Plus the sheep need to get moved today, so that is our goal. So we're going to mount this Speedrite 6000i. So this is going to be the revolutionary energizer on our revolutionary rotational pastured grazing system. Got a remote here, remote and fault finder. So this is going to be awesome. And then of course our AC adapter for 110 volt. All right, so I got this plugged in and it is on. So we're just mounting it here. That's where they had the other one mounted. And then we're just gonna have our lead out wire going straight along here. We'll drill a hole over in that wall there and go straight out from this corner, straight out to the pasture. So that's what Thane and I are working on today, aren't we? We're working on the Energizer and hooking up the electric fence.
Yeah, but there's a problem.
What's the problem?
The fence doesn't turn on.
Oh, did you check it?
Yeah, I said if it worked, but it didn't shock. Wait, is it about to make a shock sound?
No. It'll just make a shock sound if you touch it. So did you touch it?
No.
Oh, go touch it. I think it's on now.
Well, I turned it off.
Oh, you turned the fence off?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just messing with you. You don't want to touch that. That's the next thing we got to do. We got to pound some ground rods in. So let's take a look at these bad boys. These are 6 feet long. And then in this box, underneath here, we've got our lead out wire. So that's the next step thing. We got to pound these into the ground, okay? All right, so we're back here. We're about to pound the first ground rod in. We should always get some conductivity. I guess we'll just have to see how it goes. Yeah, I'm talking down here. Get a workout doing this. Let me tell you, there's one thing that I learned as I was researching how to do this that you don't want to do, and that is use the water trick. The bottle water trick, you may have seen it if you've been researching this at all. That is actually not an approved way. In fact, it's a way they say not to do it in some national standards electrical book, right? What they'll do is they'll take the rod and they'll kind of ram it in like this into the ground. They'll take a bottle of water and put a little water in there, and then they'll ram it in some more, and they'll lift it out, they'll pour the water in there, and they'll just keep drilling it down into the earth like that in order to loosen the soil. They'll add the water. They're gonna have a much easier time driving it into the earth than I just did there. However, and here's the problem, what you're actually doing is you're eroding the soil contact away from the rod, and it's not gonna make good contact and have good soil conductivity. So that is the wrong way to do it. If you do that, you're gonna have problems down the road. So just put in the little extra bit of muscle effort that you need to do the right way. So this is the correct way to do it, one of the ways. Another way is to use one of those hammer drill tools. That's fine too. Just be careful when you look, you see those gimmicky kind of trick things. There's maybe a reason why you don't see the professionals doing it that way. I ran across this massive tumbleweed, which is not really a tumbleweed, but it's a weed that got blown in the wind up against the electric fence. So we might not be the West, but the Midwest has their tumbleweeds too. Done for now. It's not the way I wanted it to be, but it is what it is. It's gonna work. So we've got 3 strands around the entire property except for a gate over there. I just set up this temporary fence here, and basically how this is gonna work is for now we're gonna run 3 strands on this. Basically, I'm really happy with what it is so far. What it needs to be is 4 strands around the perimeter. They recommend 5 strands around a perimeter for sheep, but I'm just not convinced that my sheep are gonna try to escape as long as we keep them fed. As long as they've got grass to graze on, or hay, water, minerals, they're not gonna be, they're content to stay where they're at. That's just the nature of the sheep. I do still want 4 strands around the property. They're respecting the 3 strands. Well, one of them decided to push the boundaries and learned what happens when you do that, but that was because she was able to get low, and I feel like if we had had a 4th strand at the bottom, just 8 inches off the ground, she never would have tried it. So they're learning what this means, that this means bad, don't touch. I'm gonna stick out here with them for a little while tonight and just make sure that they settle down for the night and they stay inside the fence and don't try to jump it. So what we're eventually going to do is train them down to one strand, but that's going to take time. That's going to take them getting used to the fact that we move them daily or every other day whenever they need food. We need to be out there and make sure that we're on top of it, and then this will work like a dream. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.